I'd like to call this meeting back to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz.
Here.
Mr. Gibbons.
Here.
Mr. Gill.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Here.
Ms. Dentino.
Here.
Mr. Marks.
Here. May I have a motion and a second for board minutes of regular meeting, June 17th, 2024, special session meeting, June 26th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mrs. Gill.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Abstain on 6/26, yes on 6/17.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes.
Ms. Dentino.
Yes.
Mr. Marks.
Yes. I'll open the floor for public comments for agenda items only. I see none. We will move on to report of solicitor.
No report at this time.
Thank you. Report of superintendent, Mr. Bildo.
Good evening, Mr. Marks. Ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Education, good morning, members of the public. Mr. Mark. Mr. Marks, if you could allow me to make some minor edits. I will be quick. The first item would be under 6.6A would actually be instructional appointments, which is the detail. The first item, which is the second row from the bottom, Jonathan Brand, he's a new appointment. The position will change from second grade teacher at Blackwood Elementary to fifth grade teacher at Blackwood Elementary. No other changes. So instead of second, it'll be fifth. The second item I'd like to read in, the second and third items I'd like to read in. Again, this is an instructional appointment. The name is Maura Cullen. Maura will replace employee 5631. She will be a resource teacher at Blackwood Elementary School. She will be step 1 BA at 60,091. And the effective date will be September 1st of 2024, assuming all the paperwork has been completed. Again, and the final thing under instructional appointments is the addition of Annabella Lenane. Annabella replaces employee number 5541. Annabella will be a second grade teacher at Blackwood Elementary School, step 1, BA 60,091, with a start date of September 1st, 2024, assuming all paperwork has been completed. The final item under 7.7D, and that is on the main agenda, 7.7D under my section. These are employees who are paid for by federal funding, specifically Title I. So at the top of the page under D there, employee number 3433, put a strike through the entire row. That person will be paid for with current expense funds. In lieu of that, please add employee number 5750 with a salary of $60,291 per annum. And the percentage of salary paid for with Title I is 100%. And that is all the edits, Mr. Marks.
Thank you.
So with that said, I would ask the Board of Education to consider,
Yeah, great.
we'll come back to that. It's good stuff. That's all right. Let's come back. On superintendent. There'll be the changes when we vote on my report. Sorry, Mr. Hilbrand, I was getting momentum on the edits to the agenda. All right.
Okay, thunder.
So should have like thrown a shoe out here or something. So tonight we have our district supervisor of student special services, Mr. Grant Hildebrandt. And Mr. Hildebrandt is here to give a brief summation of what some of the things, a specific thing that happens in his department. This would be for last year. I believe that the results had already been sent to the Board of Education, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so go ahead, Grant.
So one of the things my department is tasked with is doing residency issues. And unfortunately, we're coming across more and more of them, just as I don't know, it just becoming a problem, it seems like. People are coming from our local school, communities, and they are sneaking into our school district using false affidavits, false address, family members, and we are tasked with doing those investigations. So I just want to do a brief overview of what we found this year. We looked into 175 different cases this year. That is roughly the same as we had last year. Within our district, that's a kid going to, we'll just say choose, and they should be going to Loring Fleming. Last year we had 10. This year we found 23 students that were doing that. So we had them transfer. Last year we had 61 students that resided outside of our district that were using our schools for an education. This year we found 103 and we had them transferred out. Last year's savings, and the savings is calculated by the New Jersey Administrative Codes formula. And that's basically days, what the tuition rate was, grade level they're in, program that they're in, all kind of combined together, and the date that we had them transfer out. Last year's savings was $305,600. This year it's $786,340. Number of active investigations we have right now is 10. We have some that are kind of pending, and we have a list that is already to go come September that we're going to be investigating right away. Our other school staff do a great job of letting us know if they see something and send us a request. We look into it, try to get on it. So I'll take any questions when. Anyway.
Grant, I have a question. How often are the tips from members of the public or even other school staff who just come by you able to be acted upon, and how often are they, or as the crow flies, accurate?
50%. It's probably above 50%, to be honest with you. Sometimes we know it, we just can't get enough evidence to do it, and then it just kind of pends and we just keep investigating it. A lot of times we do get accurate information, but then their circumstance changes, that they know that they are being looked at and they are being investigated, so they do what's right, and they say, oh no, we're going to transfer out, or oh, we're just going to go to this school, or they just find another loophole around it. But we stay on top of it, we look into it, and if we can, we ask them to leave.
Right. So once again, if you reside in Gloucester Township, we certainly want our schools to educate those children, but if you don't, that is why your department does a wonderful job with the detectives that we have, and $750,000 is quite a savings. So I just wanted the board to know that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Grant.
Grant.
Good job by your staff. That's a considerable amount of money from year to year. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Okay,
All right, Mr. Bill, we'll start back over.
yeah, I should have started with you, Grant. Better sound bite. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. Marks. If I could have a consent, yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mrs. Johnson. How are you? Sound better? I think even.
Say my compliments.
Great, good job, Grant, good job. Thank you for coming. Mr. Marks, if board would consider a consent resolution for items 6.3A through 6.6 M as amended, please.
May I have a motion in a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
I just have a question. Where is Benway School?
Oh, that's me.
I just never heard of Benway. I
Neither
just,
did I.
so, oh, sorry.
A child who was placed there without us being notified, who was fine here. Their parent decided that they wanted them placed in residential out of their home, didn't tell us, and we happened to find out. And we had to scurry and find a school for him, and it's way up in North Jersey somewhere, and he's a little guy.
North Jersey. Okay.
Yeah. So
Thank
we
you.
have to do a lot of virtual tours, and we finally were able to make the decision where he was most appropriate.
So it's residential then?
Will you remain there? So he's to stay there until, I guess, his mom decides if she wants him back.
So this $4,035, that's per what? That just seems like a small amount to me.
That was only for the remainder of the school year because that's a bill, I believe that's the first tuition bill for, because I think he went in May. And that may have only been for like the last week or so of school. We're yet to get in July because.
That was a week?
Yeah,
A week?
A week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because come July, it's the new school year, so. I don't have the contract for that. so,
Okay.
no.
Something you imagine on the.
No, can't.
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I had a question on, we got 6.4 E. This was for the mentoring. I had Patty McBride as on the thing, but I thought that she was retiring. And then I had another question too, that it said that the members would all be tenured, but I thought it would, everybody on that list tenured that was in the mentoring program.
Patty told me she's not leaving. Yeah, that's clearly a typo. Why don't we withdraw item F from 6.4 and I will bring, oh, not F,
No.
no, E.
E.
Why don't we withdraw 6.4 E and I'll bring it back in the month of August.
Okay, thank you.
you.
I thought maybe I missed something. I
No.
didn't know.
No, but with that document or just that one?
That's good document, but it's not.
No.
I mean, it is, but I'm not gonna.
All right, my apologies.
Okay, so can I get an all in favor to withdraw 6.68 or 6.48?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
I.
all right. Any other questions? May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Prince,
Yes, to everything, but I'm going to abstain on 6.5A.
noted. Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilch,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donnell,
I am abstaining on 6.6G. The following numbers: 3705, 0593. Yes, on the balance.
Ms. Dentino,
Yes.
Mr. Marks.
Yes. We'll move on to 7.0, reported of business administrator, Mr. McCauley.
Yes, asking for the board's approval. We're tabling 7.1 and 7.2. They're for June. Once we close the year out, which is probably going to happen next week, you'll probably have June and July and August. So we're asking for approval of 7 through just
No, Bill
No.
7.3.
board secretary, sports and transit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Through 7.7 J,
As amended with the table, correct?
correct?
May I have a motion and a second, please?
Second.
Any questions?
I had one for 7.5 F. I know Ms. O'Donnell had brought up in the past about the buses being donated. And I was wondering if it was a possibility or a thought of maybe trading with the Pumpkin Festival for like a spot to maybe have a job fair for hiring in exchange for the buses. That was just a comment, I guess.
Mr. Gibbons?
Yeah, like, could we put up a, we're
Give and take. a
we're
little bit.
looking for, for staff and constantly have jobs out there. Could we ask them to have a spot for a job fair table?
At no cost.
Yeah, at no cost.
Not a bad idea.
I will speak to the main stage people and I'll try to report back to the board.
So do we table that for now? No,
We're just giving them the bus.
No, I think
No.
it's a I don't think we stopped the bus.
No,
I think
but
it's a
just-
conversation. Yeah.
right. I just wanted to make sure everybody was.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Any other questions?
Oh, so I did have a question on a bill for Remington and Vernick for fire alarm. That we use Johnson, don't they have their own like engineering firm that we needed to use Remington and Vernick for some sort of fire? What was that about that we needed? Like, there's a lot of bills for Johnson's on there, and then there's Remington and
Yeah, but
Vernick. that says fire
Johnson
alarm.
services existing fire alarms in every school. We're replacing fire alarms at 3 schools, and Remington and Verdict did all the engineering for that. Two different services.
So Johnson won't do the engineering for stuff that they're going to install?
They're,
Or because it was-
once the units are become active in September, we'll turn over the monitoring to Johnson.
Who's installing them?
It's us,
Not Johnson.
no,
I think that's the
Chaming's
question.
Electrics and so on.
Okay, I think that was the
Okay.
question. Johnson's not
Right,
installing.
okay.
So, Mr. McCauley, the engineering, the architect of the schematic, the plan for the new fire alarm system, I think that's what Mr. Gibbons was going. through.
Remington and Verdict,
That was R and V.
correct? Yeah.
And once they had, this is what Glen Lanning's new system should look like, then the actual controls are all Johnson product, correct?
They're not Johnson, it's a Siemens system.
Is it,
And then once they turn over it,
once
then
we possess it?
once we possess it, then Johnson maintains it from that point forward.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of bills from Johnson's on there, and then it's all fire and that, and then I saw that Remington and Vernick bill for.
That's because
Fire
they're
alarms
getting
and-
ready to certify the systems for
I
next
think-
year.
You know, not knowing the Siemens in that question, would Siemens, gift us the engineering work? I think that's, probably,
No,
yeah.
That's very too much gifting going on.
Well, to be fair, fire alarms are replaced in a building every 5 decades?
oh, they last for 20, 30 years.
Well, that's what we should do. But
So
the one we're taking out, kind of original.
probably.
So I didn't mean to jump in there, but
Okay.
Any other
I'll stop
questions?
talking.
Any others? May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
I have to look and see something here. Okay, I'm a no on 7.7H. And on check number 133-702, 133-807, 134-032. Yes on the balance.
those are no's on all those?
Oh, no's on those, yes.
Okay. Mrs. Gelch,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Donnell,
Yes, I am. I'm begrudgingly voting yes on this one check, but I am hoping that we do something different come September because it is out of control, the amount of money it is. So I'll say yes.
Ms. Dentino,
Yes.
Mr. Marks.
Yes. Move on to old business, Mr. Bildo.
Not at this time.
New business, Mr. Booth.
I just want to let the Board of Education know, members of the public, on Friday, early in the morning, company by the name of CloudStrike became prominent. CloudStrike shut down all but 5 airports in the United States as of Friday morning. And it also shut down banks. I received a phone call from one of my sons who works at a very large bank, and they weren't even allowed to log in. He called me, and I subsequently woke Mr. Wells up out of bed. Sorry, Steve. I was concerned for the district and whether or not we had CloudStrike. Fortunately, Mr. Wells had a very good answer. He indicated that we went with the other guys. So whatever the other guys was, Steve, you made a prudent decision, and the district did not have anything penetrate as far as the security risk, correct? Yes, all right. So I did look into it, and that was a great answer. So that was my new business, Mr. Marks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
At this time, we'll open up the public comments. We have none. We'll move on to board member comments.
I'm sad the public's not gonna talk to us tonight, but okay. What, Mr. Bilodeau? Thank you, Mr. Hildebrand, for your report. Thank you, Mr. Wells, for your hard work, and thanks for everybody coming out.
Any others?
Thanks for coming out.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I just want to say that, thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks, Grant, for a job well done. Steve. I also, poked my head in at the job fair in the afternoon and then the evening, and I was quite impressed with the amount of people that came out. So it was impressive. That's why I went. The afternoon when I was riding by and I said, oh darn, I did call Mr. Bilodeau to see if it was something that I could pop my head in on, and I did, and everybody was very well interviewing, and it really was well run. So I just want to say thank you for that, and I think that was probably one of the larger ones from what I understand that we've had. So kudos to everyone that was involved in all that. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Any others? I'd like to thank Mr. Wells for going with that other guy. What a big savings. We'd be a mess. Thank you. I'd like to take the time to thank everybody for taking the time this summer to come out and sit with us. Be safe, everybody. Have a good night. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Mr. Bilodeau gave me a